Hey, it's Nono. I'm back again. So I'm going to speak slowly because I have papers. I have to know what I'm saying. I have to know what I'm doing. So before I start, of course, I may use the word allegedly more than usual because I don't want to get sued. And I wasn't there when those things allegedly happened. I am going to summarize all the complaints from Cassie. So it involves Diddy and Cassie. And again, I wasn't there. I don't want to get sued. So don't come at me. Okay? If some of you want to listen to Diddy's songs, go do it. Okay? Okay? I'm not going to be a hypocrite. Okay? If I see a good song of his, I'm going to listen to it. But that's it. Okay? I personally believe all those claims from Cassie, but again, that is just me, okay? That is just me. That's my opinion. So don't come at me. So again, as you guys know, you guys know Diddy. You know, you kind of know him. So I don't think I need to tell more about him. You know, the fact that he was born on November 4th, 1969. He's a rapper, producer, businessman. His net worth, if I'm not mistaken, his net worth is over $800 million, right? So he's a multimillionaire, almost a billionaire. But he's also known for sabotaging 95% of his artists, ruining their lives and reputation, including his baby mamas and girlfriends in general. Well, girlfriends, he was never married. But hey, at least we know all his 7 kids, right? Or maybe 5, just saying. Quincy, Justin, Christian Casey, Chance, Delilah Star, Jesse James, Loveshan Combs. Hey, see, we know them. Now, I think I've said enough about him. I mean, his life, his family life. But now we have to talk about the most intriguing case. Cassie, plus some other theories being discussed again because of Cassie's business. So let's summarize with my thoughts. And again, trigger warning, because those allegations are terrible. I'd love to give my credit to Joko Scarelli on X, Joko Scarelli, for the screenshots of the lawsuit, because I think they tried to delete the screenshots. So on November 15th, 2023, we had the 5th anniversary of Kim Porter's farewell to this world. November 16th, Cassie announces she's suing Diddy for $30 million. It is rumored that Diddy attempted to settle in private a few months ago, but Cassie rejected the offer. Then the case was settled in November 17th, according to Cassie. The lawsuit includes, allegedly a cycle of mistreatment, the darkest times of her relationship with Diddy. So it is about mistreatment. There's another word that starts with A, but I can't really use it on YouTube, so I will stick with mistreatment. Psychological, physical, intimate, to not say that other word. So she and Diddy dated from 2007 to 2018, shortly after Diddy's breakup with his longtime girlfriend, Kim Porter. Kim Porter and Cassie have similar stories. They are Diddy's long-term girlfriends, may I say. So according to Cassie and her lawsuit, Diddy was prone to uncontrollable rage and would put his hands on her savagely or inappropriately. He allegedly forced a kiss on her in public to make everyone know he was dating her. He also introduced her to substances at the beginning of their relationship. All those things were allegedly witnessed by Diddy's staff, Bad Boy Entertainment's employees, etc. But according to Cassie, the staff, the employees, they were too scared to speak out. Are you really surprised? Look at how comfortable Diddy has been to sabotage most of his artists, like 99% of them. And I'm being nice to not say 100%. He's the only one who benefited from his label, his artists. Most of them got nothing, okay? Now, after all the mistreatment, allegedly, Cassie would hide, no, not Cassie, Diddy would hide Cassie during trips in hotel rooms and would call medical staff to let her rest and heal. As many narcs, because Diddy, based on the lawsuit and on my personal opinion, in my personal opinion, he is a narc. And as many narcs, he would often shower Cassie with expensive, lavish gifts to make her stay. And at that time, I think Cassie thought that, this is the only way. He's one of the biggest in the entertainment industry, is one of the biggest stars. So this is the only way. So she would agree. She wanted her fame too at that time. She did not understand how bad it was. That is a pattern from narcs, by the way. He had his ability to control her via his power, money, status. One way to control her was having Cassie carrying his weapon. Or that infamous story in early 2012, one of the few times Cassie managed to leave Diddy and then started a relationship with singer Kid Cudi. But then there's that car story, apparently, that was on February 12th, during the Paris Fashion Week. Diddy allegedly told Cassie that he would blow up Kid Cudi's car to maintain control, power over Cassie. Then it was confirmed by Kid Cudi's team that his car once blew up, and I think that was in early 2012. Then, one way or another, he managed to get Cassie back, and I personally believe that is when he reinforced his stranglehold on her. Throughout the years, allegedly, Diddy would force Cassie to have intimate relationships in bed with male intimate workers. According to Cassie, over the years, Diddy physically and intimately essayed Cassie. I believe he was giving her substances so he could, do what he had to do. She claims she tried to escape several times, but Diddy's companies, employees, lawyers would beg for her to return, or her career would be hindered. I even heard a story from Cassie stating that allegedly Diddy even managed to bribe one of Cassie's lawyers so Cassie had no choice but to come back. So basically, even some of Cassie's lawyers were not on her side anymore. Now one big mistake that Cassie made, even at that time, was that by the time I was in mid-late 2018, Cassie was done with Diddy for good. That is when the two broke up for good. She called Diddy. She probably tried to explain that she was done with him. She didn't want to deal with him anymore. And then he pretended that he accepted. According to Cassie, pretended he was fine with it. Then she joined him for dinner after he accepted the breakup news. But then later that night, He allegedly forced his way into her home and R-worded her, despite Cassie trying to say no and pushing him away. I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised at all. According to other lawsuits from Diddy, that seems to be a pattern again. Now, according to Cassie, throughout the years, she was forced into having intimate relationships with male workers. So according to her, all skin tones were involved, but it was mostly dark-skinned black men. You know, black men who look like Diddy. Diddy used to call them freak-offs or FOs. So according to Cassie, since Diddy was watching them and recording them with both his phone and Cassie's phone, Diddy has some voyeurism tendencies. According to Cassie, he would provide them, mostly Cassie, with substances, and those substances include Kita, MJ, and mixed drinks. Those substances were provided so it would help Cassie disassociate from these encounters. Extra substances include Coca-Cola, ECS, and that substance that contains 3 letters. Our warders often use this substance in nightclubs. According to Cassie, she would often get IV fluids after FOs to recover from those horrible encounters. Cassie, once seeing her phone and seeing that her phone was full of those videos, tried to delete them. But one day, on a flight, Diddy made her watch one of these videos from his own phone. Basically was trying to make her know that he still controls her, especially with these videos. And there's no doubt, if that story is true, that Diddy may have shown those videos to many people. And he probably sent those videos to many people too. So according to Cassie, FOs were paid a few $1,000s in cash. Diddy would allegedly take those substances, and he allegedly put his hand on her face once. She ended up with a black eye, but Diddy managed to delete that part in one of the videos. She was forced to wear white nails. As someone who loves white nails, I will never look at them the same way because of her story. Because according to Cassie, she had to wear white nails. She didn't have white nails all the time, but she had to wear white nails. So, you know, her fingers would create a contrast with the dark skin of the men she was, you know, doing all her stuff with. Now, I am not a fool. It is rumored that Diddy is secretly on a DL. I don't know. And again, on my channel, we're not hating on these people. The problem isn't that. The problem is that he's hiding it. And he's not even hiding it in a good way because he's scared to speak out. He's hiding the fact that he could be on a DL because, you know, he's, you know, in public, he's with many women. But in secret, he's using the fact that he could be on the DL to harm not only young women, but also young men. And probably brainwashing them into thinking that this is normal. Now, you know, he's currently facing a new lawsuit. And now his 2 eldest sons are involved. And there's this rumor that apparently his twins, his 2 daughters, tried to run away. They were having a hard time returning to his home. Thank God they have Kimura. if the story is true again. So the other rumor that we heard from Cassie is that Diddy himself is secretly addicted to certain substances, and sometimes he would send Cassie to buy certain substances, even, medical wise, so he could take them. And talking about Diddy being intoxicated, there's this story about him, that day, when she put his hand on Cassie, and, at some point he fell asleep. Then Cassie tried to wake up. She tried to run away. Unfortunately, Diddy also woke up. Then, once she ran away, he threw several vases at her. It was recording in a hotel. The hotel even had the footage, and Diddy allegedly paid so they would, take the footage out. I'm not surprised. It seems like Diddy agreed to have all the money in the world just so he could, practice all his weird things on people. And thanks to the money and status, he knew he could get away with it. Now, in my opinion, it was only a matter of time. It took us over 20 years, but now he's making Mr. Kelly, his name starts with a R, look like an angel. No pun intended. I'm referring to one of his oldest songs. According to Cassie, with all this mistreatment and how Diddy reinforced his control on her, she was too scared to say no. And she thought, I have a lot to lose. She was barely allowed to call her own parents. That says a lot. I also heard, now I'm thinking about it, there's this chef story, allegedly a female chef, a former chef of Diddy, a woman who apparently experienced intimate harassment because she was often forced to bring food to Diddy's room, and sometimes he had no clothes at all. I think he had inappropriate body language towards her. It's not looking good for him. Not at all. According to Cassie, thinking about FOs, those male workers, those male intimate workers, would make her sick to the point that she would often throw up. And one day, she wanted to throw up, thinking about, oh my gosh, I have to do what I do with them again. And Diddy, according to her, allegedly shamed her and then got mad because she knew that if he got mad, he would more than likely put his hands on her. Sorry for the typo. I am trying to summarize the story as right as I can. And then he would often threaten to put his hands on her, or he would force her to perform for him. So she had no choice but to obey. What I feel that what I hate about that is, can you imagine if that story is true? Cassie is all out there thinking, oh my gosh, I have to do this again. And then she has to take all those substances, all those mixed drinks. I mean, she could have left this world by solely doing this. It's like, it's a mind game from Diddy. I feel like it was a mind game from him. It's like he was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm still hurting this woman, and she's still here. She's still alive. They dated for over 10 years. Remember, think about the shock. So hearing about the memory loss story isn't really surprising, So, according to Cassie, again, Diddy threatened to destroy her career if Cassie ever tries to run away. And I think at that time, Cassie did not really realize what she was going through. Again, she wanted her fame. She thought maybe at some point it will give me the career I want. So she felt like she had a lot to lose. Then there's those infamous incidents of Diddy putting his hands on Cassie like terribly. In January 2009 in Los Angeles, Cassie spoke to another music manager, career-wise. She thought, and I really feel bad for her if that story is true, because she thought that Diddy would be genuinely happy for her. But instead, when he heard about the story, he became enraged. And according to Cassie, Diddy allegedly pulled Cassie out of the party, and he put his hands on her terribly. He even stomped on her face. And there's Diddy's then security staff who tried to stop the whole thing, but he was unable to stop the whole situation. The security staff, the former one, then confirmed the story. According to Cassie, they then went in the car. Then when the car arrived at Diddy's evidence, Cassie allegedly tried to run away, but Diddy allegedly caught her and then put his hands on her face again. Then, allegedly, Cassie went to his home, then began to throw up from the incident. That is horrible. Then there's the second scary story, similar story in 2015, so 6 years later, and I was in Vegas, so Cassie was speaking to another music manager. This time, from my understanding, she did not tell Diddy, but then Diddy heard about the story, and then after that, he forced Cassie to go in their room, in their suite, and after that he began to put his hands on her again. She tried to run away from in every corner of the room. Then she tried to lock herself up in the bathroom, but then Diddy managed to force his way into the bathroom and began to put his hands and his feet on her face mostly. And according to Cassie, when Diddy's head of security and one of his assistants saw Cassie's face, it wasn't Cassie, it was these two who began to cry. Because Cassie had 2 black eyes, a burst and bruised lip, and huge welt on her forehead. You see that scar on her forehead? She did not have that scar at the beginning. But no one noticed that at the moment. But then there's this Dubai picture. I remember Cassie posting a Dubai picture. She was on a vacation in Dubai, and I was on MySpace, and she pretended that she was, she got injured because she tried something. She tried an activity in Dubai, and then she got injured. She felt terribly, apparently, but it wasn't that. I think this picture had 2 meanings. One, she was trying to lie that it happened while on a vacation in Dubai. The second meaning is that, she was trying to show to people who knew about Diddy's behavior, look what this man did to me again. Look how I'm feeling. Look at this picture. Is it normal? She was wearing sunglasses, so I suspect she was wearing those because behind she had the 2 black eyes, but I do recall her having that welt and that bandage because she had the welt on her forehead and that bruised lip. I remember that. I'll stop the video right here and I'll come back for part 2.